Okay, Jai Ma, and welcome to Matri Satsang of Sri Anandamayi Ma. And I always have to give this disclaimer, I think it's actually a legal thing, that we are recording this and we do upload it to our YouTube channel, which is Anandamayi Ma Satsang West, and it's seen by devotees. And so if you do participate, which we hope you do, you will be recorded, but I hope that doesn't dampen your enthusiasm to join us and share and have discussion later on when we open the floor to that. So we're here, as always, to invoke the presence of Anandamayi Ma through our longing for her, through our study of her life and her teachings, and try and listen to what she's saying to us today so we can apply it in our practical daily spiritual life. Because Ma was the embodiment of sadhana shakti. She was the embodiment of the power to attain God. Because she, from birth, unlike many masters, she was very unusual in many ways. From birth, she was enlightened. So he was the incarnation of this unitive consciousness, of the divine consciousness in the world. And so she was what we are truly inside, all covered up by ignorance and by layers of desires and thoughts and all these things which keep us from experiencing our true inner self and soul. She was the embodiment of that, uncovered with no ignorance. So when we think of her, when we pray to her, when we say her name, we are lessening this veil inside of us so the light of our true consciousness can shine through us. So Ma is a very practical treasure to have, in that she not only guides us with her beautiful teachings, which we'll study today, but she empowers us to do these things by remembering her. So she's like a real source of spiritual blessing. So it's just such a wonderful thing today that we can meet and discuss these things and feel her presence. We're going to sing to her. We're going to talk to her. So thank you all for joining us. And as we always say, that we not only are here all separately thinking of Ma, we are here together as a community. Even though we're scattered all over the whole world, we are here as a community of Ma's children. And I want people to always feel that we're here for each other, we support each other, we love each other, we try to interact with each other. People who didn't know each other are now friends through this satsang. So because of that, we ask your patience, and we want to see every single person who's here. So if you would turn on your video so we can see your face, and I'll introduce some more people here, and then Rainer's going to call your name, and you just at this point, since we have a lot of people, we'll just say your name and where you're from. But first of all, I introduce myself. My name is Mangalananda, and I received Diksha from Ma in 1973. I traveled with her in 73, 74, and I've been living basically in her lineage ever since, in different ashrams in America and India. In 2001, I was sent back to India by Ma's main Swami, Swami Bhaskaraji, and I lived in one of her ashrams in India for 12 years. And now we're doing Ma Seva here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And this is my wife, Gloria.
Jai Ma, it's such a joy to be here. Manglananda and I have been reading so many of Ma's books, especially the one Pragya wrote, and there's a new one. And it just seems like whenever, the sadhana's kind of waning, we look to her for advice, and it always comes through.
Yeah, always. And I want to introduce my co-host, the author of the book Mother of Bliss and the editor of the book we're reading from today, the 2-volume Gospel of Sri Anandamayi Ma, Pragya Hallstrom, who's hosted our Matri Satsangs in the Boston area for many years. So Pragya, we say hello.
Jai Ma, everyone. So good to see you. We're very excited. We're in the process of moving from our house here in Amherst, Massachusetts, to a larger house. It's only 10 minutes away, but has a big, big living room that just is crying out to have satsang in it. And so we're going to start having live programs, Anandamayi Ma satsang, kirtan, classes starting in June. And we're on our way over there. I was over there trying to find the perfect place for the altar in our new house. And so we'll tell you more later about our first activities. Great to be here, Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, very good. And Our next person is our ever ready to serve wonderful Sevak, Renu. I'll let Renu introduce herself and tell you where she is, and then she will call on each person. And when she calls on you, if you just look in the bottom left of your screen, you can just put unmute, or you can even hold your space bar down if you're on a computer, and then say your name and where you're from, and then remute so we don't get any static and feedback and everything. Okay, so Renu, introduce yourself, please.
Jay Ma, welcome. I'm in Portland currently. Came here for some kirtan activities and workshop activities, but this fit in perfectly in between there. So happy to be here and excited to get to see all of you again and welcome those maybe who haven't been here for the first time. I'm just going to go down the participant list. When I call your name, just unmute and introduce yourself and say where you're from, and then we'll get going on with the program. So first on the list, we have Arpita ji and possibly Robert.
Arpita?
Arpita, where are you?
Yes, we saw you, Arpita.
She's
Maybe she's feeling a little shy. Okay, so next we have Chandana.
Jai Ma. I am Chandana Jali. I am originally from Bangladesh, but we live in Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh,
Welcome,
Jema.
welcome, Jay Ma. How wonderful.
Welcome. Thank you, Mangalananda ji. You invited me at Shivananda Ashram.
Of course, I recognize you now. Wonderful to see you. Yes, yes. Wonderful to see you.
you.
Welcome, Jay Ma.
Jai Ma.
So I unmuted myself
There's
finally.
Arpita. Hi.
I'm sorry I like burned my finger, and anyway, I couldn't get the mouse to work and then I couldn't get my finger to work, but I'm here. We live in Florida. Robert's in the other room and he'll be here shortly.
Welcome, Arpita. Always.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
our old friends, when I was traveling with Ma, she came also, and we both received Diksha from Ma. So we're very, very wonderful old time devotee of Ma. Very good.
Old time. That old time.
We've all got an old time. Yeah, we're all.
It's cool. It's all good.
Jay Ma, welcome Arpita ji, Robert, and Chandana. And next we have David Herring.
David and Linda.
We are David and Linda, and we live in Williamsburg, Virginia. And we were in Cancun with all the Anandamayi Ma people in 2019.
Wonderful.
Jay Ma.
Always happy to see you. And you're coming to the Yogaville event, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay. We'll talk about that in a little bit, just a couple minutes. Welcome, David and Linda.
Jay Ma, welcome David and Linda. And next we have David.
Yeah, Jay Ma, San Diego.
Good to see you, David.
Jema.
And it's wonderful. It's wonderful seeing new people, and it's really wonderful seeing the same faces every month. The people who come regularly and contribute and participate and are part of this community. It's really good.
Thank you.
Welcome Jay Ma. And I love it when new faces become regular ones.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have Helen Moon.
Salt Spring Island, Jay Ma, so happy to be here. Missed last month, so really looking forward to this month.
Good to see you, Helen. Very good. And actually, I will be in British Columbia in June. Some devotees have invited me to perform a wedding because I'm also a minister. I can do the Indian Vedic wedding, which usually takes 3 days. I can do it in 45 minutes. So I'm very popular in that. But I don't leave out anything. I have all the steps.
But where in BC are you going to be?
Kind of in the countryside northeast of Vancouver. They live kind of way out in the sticks. I'm flying into Vancouver.
Well, you're welcome to come to Salt Spring. I have an extra bedroom.
Oh, it's very sweet because I used when I toured from India, I used to always stop and do some kirtans in Salt Spring. And I love the people there and the place. It's a special place. Yeah.
There's a lot of people here connected to India.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of kirtan.
Well, I'll wave goodbye when I fly over. Okay.
Ah!
I wave hello. Okay, sorry, Renu. I told people not to talk too much. So who's next?
Jay Ma, welcome. I want to vouch for the wedding thing. That was great because when you did
Gloria and I did Renu's wedding.
when you did mine with a bunch of people from Illinois, I was
Yeah,
like,
I'm doing
these people-
Lakshmi's wedding. You met, in Maui.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay. Let's move this along here. Okay, so next we have James Broada or Broad, US. James.
Are you there, James?
It's
You're
not
on
on.
mute.
Can you unmute, James?
Okay, well, welcome.
Okay.
James. Glad to see you. And no problem if you have trouble. Just
Sorry if-
There you
Oh.
go.
I was unmuted, but yes, I live in the Las Vegas area, and I recently became interested in Ma after following her on social media for several years. And I would love to get connected with more of Ma's people in Nevada or Southern California or Arizona or anywhere else.
Very good.
Jima.
Really, it's people like you who were doing this satsang for. Really into the people who, when I lived in India, I met so many people when I traveled because the ashram would send me to tour places. People who had met Ma and had experience with her, and she was real to them, and they had nowhere to go, nowhere to learn more, nowhere to have comfort, to have community. So this is what we're here for. So you're very, very welcome. Very, really happy to see you, and we'll put you in touch with people. And this is what we're here for.
Thank you.
Okay, Jema, welcome.
Thank you.
And next we have Joel Huntner.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Joel, otherwise known as Reed.
Hey, Reed.
Actually, I prefer the name Reed. I'm in Berkeley. It's great to see you all.
Yeah, long time no see. We saw you about 8 hours ago. We did a really nice kirtan in Tiburon last night, and Reed was there.
That was wonderful. Great.
Good.
I continue welcoming Reed to. I always mess up with Joel and Reed. I always get confused. Okay, sorry about that. Next we have John LeBlanc.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Hi, guys.
hi, John.
Hi.
Welcome.
Welcome. We haven't seen you for a while. Good.
Wow, good to see you.
Yeah.
So,
Also a neighbor.
and say hi.
Thank
Good.
you.
You're very welcome, John. Good to see you.
I got my new icon.
Oh, beautiful. There you go.
Wow.
Perpetual health. Jai Ma.
Beautiful.
So,
Jema, welcome. Next we have Michael Zeev.
Hi, Michael from Sebastopol. Great to be here, Jema.
Jai Ma,
Jima.
Michael. I haven't had a chance to answer your email yet, but yeah, we can meet tomorrow, but we got to figure out where.
Yeah, great.
They closed that cafe.
Oh my, they did. Oh,
Okay, Rainy.
Okay, Jema, welcome. Next we have Kent.
Hello, live in South Dakota. It's my first time, so I'm enjoying it. I've known Ma since 1981. Haven't met her in person, but definitely in spirit, and love her and all that she does.
Wonderful.
Visited her ashrams in India in 2022 in Calcutta and New Delhi. Very powerful. Very
Excellent.
got to meditate in her bedroom. That was bliss.
Yes.
Awesome.
Welcome, Ken. You're very,
you.
very welcome to be here. You found your home. Yeah, it's true. All the ashrams that are still open that were in Ma's time, her bedroom where you can sit, become a shrine, or you can sit and meditate. I've meditated in many, many of them. It's just, and she left this incredible, as you know, as you found out, she left this psychic spiritual force there where you can really contact her. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's very, very powerful.
Welcome, Ken. We're glad you're with us. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Group today.
Yeah.
Jema, welcome. And next we have Martha and Harold.
Martha and Harold from Wisconsin.
Jai Ma, we see you. Can't hide from us. Martha, you there?
Martha and Harold.
Did you hear us?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
see you and hear you. Tell us where you're from.
Say it again, Harold, they didn't hear you.
Martha and Harold Lipster from Wisconsin.
Welcome to you both. We're always good to see you.
Welcome to you both. Next, we have Keith.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here. I'm just a little bit south of Portland, Oregon, in Oregon City.
Very
I'm-
good.
Hey, thank you.
Welcome. Very happy to see you.
Jay Ma.
Rainey's right near you. You can say hi.
Good to welcome you here. Good to be in Oregon. And next we have, did I say Molly Hickok already?
No,
Okay, Molly.
Molly.
Jai Ma, I'm from Connecticut. Nice to be here.
Very good. Welcome,
Ma.
Molly. Very nice to see you.
Welcome. Next we have Naing, or hopefully that's pronounced right. Naing, Naing.
Hi, it's Jim Nine calling in from Washington, D.C.
Very good. Welcome,
Wow.
Jay Ma. Very good to see you.
Jay Ma.
Jima.
Jema, welcome Naing. And next we have Pamela Vantras or Vantras. Pamela.
Hi, this is me. My spiritual name is Prema, and I'm in Novato, California, and
Oh,
anxious to
wow.
find a satsang group and bhajan group.
Very good. Prema, we're probably a few yards away from you. We're also in Nevada.
I know
Welcome.
that.
Very
I
good.
heard you in Mount Shasta a few years ago.
Oh, very good. And we
Yeah.
just did the kirtan in Tiburon last night. I'm sorry we didn't know about
I
it.
saw that. Yeah, I saw that this
Well,
morning.
Welcome, a new acquaintance. Very good. Welcome.
Thank
We'll
you.
definitely be in
I'm
touch.
very delighted to be here.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Not
Jema.
a timers this month. Very, very good.
Jema, welcome. Next we have Gulshan.
Oh,
Oh,
Jay Ma, everybody. I'm from Gulshan from Washington, D.C. area. Glad to be here. Jay Ma.
very good to see you. We haven't seen you in a long time, Gulshan. Gulshan joined us in India a few years ago.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. That was great.
Wonderful. Will you be able to come to our thing in Yogaville?
Yes, I'm planning on it. Yes.
Oh, great. We're good. We'll see. Gloria will be there. Ramana will be there. Great, great. Very, very good. Okay, Gulshan, good to see you. And we're glad you're here.
Thank you. Same here.
Okay. Okay, welcome Gulshan. Next we have Randy Jordan.
Hey Ma, glad to see everybody in Jupiter Beach, Florida today. So it's a little warmer than Massachusetts.
You're usually up in the East Coast, right, Randy? And
Yeah, I'm usually up north. So just our last day here. And I might leave a little early, but so good to be here.
Yeah, welcome. Glad you could join us. Very
Jay
good.
Ma.
Jema, welcome. And it's just FYI, I'm gonna see Katie later, Randy. Okay, Sanjay Jaswal next.
Jai Ma, I'm Sanjay, and with me Shivank. We are from Wichita, Kansas. Glad to be over here.
And आपका बेटे का नाम क्या है?
Shivank, I'm Shivank.
Shivak?
Yes.
Very good. Well, welcome. Always good to see both of you. Excellent.
Thank you.
And thank you for all the help you do through the ashram in India too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, Sanjay and Shashank. Next we have Sarah from Hawaii. Aloha and Jema.
Jai Ma, it's Sarah on the Big Island, and I just want to say, Rainu, thank you for going the distance by doing tech support outside.
Yes. Volunteer. That's what I do.
Good to see you, Sarah. Good to see you. Yanaba wrote and said she can't make it this month, but she's going to watch later.
All right. And next we have Sir Blake.
Hello, I'm Blake from Dublin. I enjoyed the concert last night. It was a beautiful kirtan concert, and good to see Swami and Gloria and Reed. So, Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Nice to see you
Yeah,
again.
nice to see you here. I'm glad you could come. Very, very good. We got some special readings today too. It's going to be nice.
Awesome. Welcome, Sir Blake. And I saw that Facebook post. That was a really beautiful tribute. Swati Anakya. Swati.
Gemma, I'm here from California, San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
Very good. Welcome.
neighbor.
We're right near you. Yeah. Jai Ma.
Jema. I
Very
hope to see you sometime in Sebastopol. I think you come there often.
We're playing next month, next May, I think 25th at Indigo Yoga Institute in San Francisco.
In San Francisco. I
Yeah.
will figure out and see you there then in person.
Very good. Look on their
Yeah.
website. It's their Indigo Yoga Institute. I think it's May 25th, a Saturday night.
Great. I'll definitely do that. I have been connected to Ma for a long time, and I just thought I should meet more people and feel the energy. So here for the present.
Beautiful. That is why we were here. Did you have Ma's darshan? Didn't was it was in the body?
No, no.
Very good. Well, we're very happy you're here. Excellent.
Yeah, but I feel her presence, and yeah, I definitely feel her presence.
Good. Good. Very good.
Jema, welcome. And next we have Will.
Hi, thanks for having us. Good to see Acharya looking better. Last time he was on his back in bed.
Yeah, last month I was really sick. Then Gloria got it too. Yeah, thank you. We're better now.
Yeah, well, we all thought we'd seen the last of you. But, if
Where
I could
are you
have,
from, Will? Where are you speaking from?
I'm calling from England.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of always amazed by Anandamayi Ma, incredible woman, and it's kind of pleasing to hear that she's sort of still around. The great saints like Ramana and so on, also you hear similar stories, and so she is amazing, absolutely.
Good. She's very active and very in many people's lives. Yeah, more than when she was alive.
She was also, I mean, for all her love of solitude, I think in some respects she was also incredibly generous. I mean, she seemed to march around India, if I'm not wrong, for 20 or 30 years.
50 years, 1932 to 1980. She never stopped traveling. She was maybe a few days. In each
Really?
place. Yeah.
Yeah, she must have.
Started traveling with it too, because we had body consciousness, but she didn't know, so she could go anywhere, do anything. We had to just tag along and find out how to stay with her.
It's a pity that those trips are hardly recorded, but I mean that must have been an absolute. I mean that must have been really hard for her, like to be on the trains and taking all that energy and in such a chaotic environment, and yet she just obviously she had the energy and she could contain it. But not many people could do that, like to give out energy probably for months or years at a time I mean, there are many people who couldn't do that. Even so-called enlightened people who just wouldn't be able to sustain that. So her energy, and she was an incredible woman. And I'm in some ways I'm surprised that she isn't more visible. But I'm afraid that's how the great sages are. And India has produced some fantastic sages. There's a monk called Nirmalananda who you probably know in New Mexico monastery there, who met her, and he always speaks extremely favorably about her. So
That's nice. I lived in his ashram for 27 years. I know him.
Ah, you did, huh? In New Mexico you lived there?
No, it was in different places. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome, Will. We're very happy you're here to join us, and we'll have an open session at the end where people can also just share their thoughts, their questions, their experiences also. Which we really for you. So welcome from UK. It's really happy you're with us.
Jema, welcome, Will. And next we have Yatish.
Oh, Yatish.
Jama, I'm Yitesh. I live in San Francisco. I'm glad to be here.
Always happy to see you.
Nice to see you.
And come sing with us next month on the 25th. We're right there in your backyard.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Good to see you.
Welcome, Yatish Baya. Okay, Jema, I think that's it. Yeah.
Very good. Great. Okay, so somebody just showed up, but it will okay, so now everyone's introduced themselves. We're very happy to see everyone. And we have kind of a special satsang this week. We're going to start a little differently. Usually, we sing now and start with the readings, but we have some very important announcements that we wanted to kind of get in at the first so people don't miss them if they leave early. So Pragya, why don't you start with our different announcements, okay? And we'll go from there.
Okay. Jay Ma, so the first announcement is that we have a new website for Ma's ashram, which is going to be in New England, the first ashram on the mainland of America. So right now, Renu's going to put that website in the chat so that you can look up about the ashram, about the activities we're having. So to get to the announcements of some of our activities, first of all, I'm going to be teaching my first online class entitled Ma 101, which is beginning on Saturday, June 15th from 1 to 3 p.m. There'll be 6 sessions, and it's based on my first book, Mother of Bliss. And we'll be reading these different sections talking about all of the aspects of Ma's being and discussing, and I think it should be really fun. So Renu's going to put in my email so that you can, if you want to register for Ma 101, you can do that. Number 2, we're having the opening ceremony for Ma's ashram in Amherst on Sunday, June 23rd from 1 to 4 p.m. That's Eastern time. So we really hope those of you who are close enough to us or would like to fly to us, as some people are doing, such as Renu or Sanjay, are flying across the country, to join us to invoke Ma's presence with kirtan and readings and talks. We're going to do an arti, a very auspicious opening arti, and then there'll be prasad cooked by some of our beautiful Ma devotees. So if you'd like to be part of that first program, the first program of the new ashram, please RSVP to Pragnya at my email. Okay, chronologically, Mangalananda, take it away. Next.
Yes, next thing, this is all on the website too. I've been invited, we talked about how we're doing Kirtan and Integral Yoga next month in San Francisco. They have a main branch. I think it's the largest spiritual community in America in Virginia called Yogaville. And it's a well-established spiritual kind of small town. They have their own small landing strip and everything called Yogaville. And he was my first guru, Swami Satchidananda. I went with his permission to go see Ma. So I was invited to do a retreat there, a 3-day retreat on July 5th through 7th. And Renu is now putting the link in the chat box. So I will be the July 5th through 7th, and I'll be presenting a class on, it's called Bhakti Awakening Journey with Mantras. This is basically, according to Anandamayi Ma and her teachings, what the path of Bhakti Yoga can look like and how we work with mantras and chanting. There'll be a lot of kirtan. Gloria will be there, my tabla player will be there. We'll have a guitarist from there joining us. So it'll be 3 days of really wonderful classes and this amazing facility there. So if you want to join, just check on the chat. There's a link there, okay? And then Pragya and I together are going to talk about number 4. We're having what we're calling a mini Samyan Saptaka, because a Saptaha usually means week-long retreat. But we're going to have it September 26th to 30th at the Shivananda Yoga Ranch in Woodburn, New York. And we're trying to get our Swami Guru Sharananda to join us. He's working, his US visa expired, so he's trying to get his visa renewed. But hopefully we will have Swami Guru Sharananda and Pragya and myself and Saraswati, and we may have some other guest speakers too, other different spiritual teachers. And so it's going to be a samyan, which is a time, samyan means like restraint, self-control. It's something that Ma was very adamant about having every year in the Anandamayi Sangha in India. It's in 2 places every year, and during those days, we have group meditation, group talks, group chanting, and we explore Ma's teachings. And it's in a very wonderful environment where we can boost our daily spiritual life by this 3 or 4 day interaction with other Ma devotees and learning together and sharing together. So it'll be a wonderful time. I invite you all to come if you can.
Yes, and we would like to tell you that if you would like to fly to that retreat, probably the best airport to fly into would be LaGuardia. And our own Arpita has done some research, and she put it in the chat. that there is a limousine, kind of a shuttle service that goes from LaGuardia to Woodburn, New York, which is in the Catskills. Arpita, do you want to say more about that?
He's having trouble unmuting again. Okay, but we'll arrange it. We'll if that doesn't work.
No, she has the information in the chat.
I've got it now. I'm sorry to mute myself again. Hands are not working very well today. Yeah, so I did a little research. We have to take, in order to get to Woodburn, New York from LaGuardia, we're older and we have some medical issues that it's a difficult trip, because you get off at LaGuardia and then you have to take a bus or cab to Port Authority, which is a madhouse. And then you have to get on a bus. And for some younger people, this may not sound like a big deal. And, when I was in my 20s and went to India, I did a lot more, but right now it's daunting. So after you get to Port Authority, you take 1 or 2 buses that goes to Woodburn. Then I think they pick you up. So it's quite a trip. So I put it in the chat, and I found a cab service. It's in the chat there. I got the name of it now. What did I say?
Sure.
Okay, so yeah. So they have a van that fits 6 people, and it's only $330 total. So 6 people into $330. So it's very reasonable. And you don't have to go to Port Authority or take buses, and it'll make life a lot easier. So what we're trying to do is, I know Prajna was going to try to get somebody to organize this type of thing. But just from speaking for myself, if you're interested in sharing a van with Robert and I, we would like to do that with 4 other people, because
and we have September to go on with this. So very good. So thank you for your research.
Arpita, why don't
I'm
you
sorry.
Put your email in the chat. If people to share with you.
Okay, I'll be happy to do that. Thank you. But I think there'll be other people that will, have an easier time as well if they can avoid all that.
Very good. And as these next months go by, we'll be doing more and more research how to make it as easy as possible to get there. Very good. So, Pragya, did you have anything else to add to this, or if not, we'll just move on with the meeting? You're good? Okay. So now we'll start where we usually start after all these announcements. But as you saw, there were very important things going on. Okay, so let's start as we always do with Ma's words of assurance that she joined us long before we joined her. So Ma says, and so often, when she spoke of herself, she used the term Yesharir, this body, because in her consciousness was infinite. So she wasn't she could speak to anybody, but she realized she was in this body, so she said this body. But in these few things, she frequently she says I. So it's significant. So she says, I am ever with each one of you, wherever you happen to be. But your vision is tied down to worldly matters, and you have little time to direct your eyes to this body and your thoughts and actions. What can I do? But know it for certain that whatever you do in thought and deed, whether you are near or in distant lands, never escapes my loving attention. Just as at a flash of torchlight, your faces gleam forth in their bold outlines, all your facial expressions appear in my mind when you meditate on me or talk about me or sit down to pray to me. So Ma is at this moment seeing all our faces in her own mind. We'll make it short today since we're so stark. She says, for anyone who knows me, I am one with him. For one who wants to know me, I am very near to him. And for one who does not know me, I am a beggar before him. Beautiful. And then finally she says, anyone calling out for God from any land, in any language, and in any age, Remember their cries reach this heart like the waves crashing on the shore. So Ma is aware of us very much, and Ma is hearing us, so let's think of Ma together now. And as we usually do, we usually have our dear friend Katia from Portugal who shares a kirtan with us, but she couldn't make it. She's traveling in Europe this month, so it's all going to fall to me. And Pragya's moving, so she's not going to sing. So anyway, we always start with this first kirtan, which we wrote for our ashram in India, which is called Ma Sharanam Ashram. So let's remember, we're going to invoke Ma through our thoughts and our prayers, but also we can invoke her through prayers and through singing her name. So we simply say, Om Ma Sharanam. And Sharanam means a place of refuge, means that place, that stalwart place we hold on to keep from being swept away. So we just think of Ma and say, Om Ma Sharanam. Oh, and Rainu, I am getting the sound.
Okay, saves me a step.
Okay. But I'll forget to turn it back off, so we got around the thing. Shri Shri Anandamayi Mata Ki Jai. Om Ma Sharanam. 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 Anandamayi Ma. 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 Om Ma Sharanam. 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 Om Sharanam Om Om Sharanam Om Om Sharanam Om Sharanam Om Sharanam Om Sharanam Om Sharanam Om Sharanam And together one last time, invoking Ma's full presence. Om Sharanam. Om Sharanam. Om Sharanam. Om Sharanam. Let's just sit quietly for a moment and feel Ma's presence still with us. Okay, I'm kind of excited to announce a new thing I just found about Ma. It's a 2-volume book called Divine Compassion. And I didn't find it, as somebody wrote me about it and said, oh, look at this, I found it, a Ma devotee. I didn't find it on Amazon, but if you just, I put Divine Compassion Anandamayi Ma, and they spell it Mai with 2 E's on the end. I think I got it in a place, in an online thing called Exotic India. But it's absolutely worth having. But it is, the author is Narendra Nath Dutta, and it's his diary of his experience with Ma, ranging from 1936 to about 1950 something, and he passed away in 1960. And what's very beautiful about it is his description of his time with Ma, and it fills in a lot of blanks in Guru Priya Didi's diary that sometimes she wasn't there. He was with Ma when she came to Omkareshwar, where I lived in 1940. What's kind of refreshing about it is he's very almost blatantly honest about his own spiritual condition and his own shortcomings. And he keeps saying, like, I'm not a devotee, I don't have any good traits, but Ma is everything to me. And he would kind of argue with Ma, and he would say, Ma, I can't do anything you tell me, don't tell me to do anything, I can't meditate, I can't do anything. So it's beautiful to see how, as the story unfolds chronologically, how Ma draws him out. And he even said, like, he was in the military. He said, I'm an atheist. He doesn't believe in God, but it's not true. He loved kirtan, the singing, the singing. What we were just doing, the singing of the names of God. And Ma was always very big on kirtan and how important it is in our spiritual life. So Ma drew him out by having him do this, be in charge of what's called the Nam Yajna. And it's a very beautiful way. And like, we sit and do kirtan, we just sit in front of a temple, or we sit together in a home or a center. But the way the Bengalis often do kirtan, and the way it's done in Ma's ashram very much, and it's called the Nam Yajna, the offering of sacrifice of the name. And it's a Bengali thing. And they put a beautiful temple, a beautiful altar in the middle of the room, with pictures of Ma, pictures of Krishna and Radha and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and things. And then people carry the instruments, they'll strap the harmonium on, have the dholak, the kol, mridanga, and walk around and round this central altar singing the name. And usually it's for 12 hours, sometimes 24. I had one in Kanpur, Ma Ashram, or a place in Kanpur, where Ma was there, and we did the men do 12 hours, the women did 12 hours. It was totally blissful. So Ma instigated this, and and you see in this book how Ma insisted on many different things. Whenever there was a big event, she would always try to get Nam Yagya. And then, so anyway, this man, the author Dhirendra, fought against Ma a lot. And finally, he said, Ma, okay, even with my protest, you're awakening my spirituality. So she did it through kirtan. So he arranged the Nam Yagyas because there's a very ritualistic way you do it. And he arranged it in all the different ashrams, and he traveled with Ma for many years. And he would go to his Ma as often as possible. And ultimately, he was one of the main founders of the ashram in New Delhi, India. He's one of the main founders of it. And if you visit that ashram, and many of us have, like Rainy, we went there one time, right? When you were there on our trip, you see that the main kirtan hall is shaped circular with the thing built in the middle. And Ma was adamant about it. She said, let's do it that way. When you build the ashram, make it circular so we can do the Nam Yagya in it, like that. So anyway, I'm going to do several readings in this book. It's a treasure. It's very, very beautiful. So let's start with when he first met Ma, his first darshan of Ma. He was in Simla, which is up in the Himalayas, in the northwest range of the Himalayas, a beautiful area, hill station. And some people from this is in 1938. Let me make sure. Yes, it begins. It begins in 1936. So this is in 1936, and some people who had been in Bengal, there are a lot of Bengalis in that area because that was one of the seats of the government of the British government of India during the hot weather. It was either Mussoorie or Simla. So there were a lot of Bengalis there who worked in the British government, and some people who had known Ma in Shahbag in the early days, Shahbag Gardens in the 1920s and 30s, heard that Ma was in town. And so they said, oh, see if this is the same Ma that we met back in Shahbag. So Dhirendra, the author, walked by and saw some people, and he mistook one lady there for Ma. She had short hair, she was wearing gaiterwa. He thought this must be that saint they're talking about. So he later went back and said, yeah, she's there. She's kind of short, and she has short hair, and she's kind of squat looking. And the lady said, I don't think that's the same person. So anyway, he went to investigate, and here's what happened. First of all, he met Volanath, Ma's saintly husband, who was also her first disciple, who had been doing a lot of tapasya, a wonderful sadhu. So he says, let's start at the beginning. Friday, June 5th, 1936. The next morning at about 8 or 8:30, Haridas Babu came to my room and said earnestly, it would be so kind if you go to the Kalibari, that's where Ma was staying, once a day and bring whatever information available on Anandamayi Ma. We have to go to office, otherwise we would not be troubling you. I agreed, and after lunch, about 1:30, I reached Kalibari. In front of the Nath Mandir, I found a red ochred robed sadhu with gray matted hair and beard, a pair of bright, pleasant eyes. I realized that he belonged to yesterday's newly arrived group of guests who we saw on the road. I asked, where is Anandamayi Ma? Indicating the guest rooms in the back, and with a loud belch, he replied, Now, this turns out to be Volanath, just Ma's saintly husband. He was in Mullen at the time. I think he explains that letter, so he didn't speak Japan. He went, With a quick glance at his face, I walked on. In front of the office room, there was a gentleman, probably 40 years of age, walking up the narrow passage holding a cigarette. I asked him, are you also one of Anandamayi Ma's group? Smilingly, he looked at me and replied, yes, why do you ask? I wanted to see her. Is this the right time? Eagerly, he replied, of course, she has gone up to the hall. You can go there. Going up the flight of steps, I entered the hall. It was dark. Hope I can read this, because whenever I read it to Gloria, I start crying. At the other end, overlooking the mall, the main road could be seen with an open door letting in some light. Walking forward, I saw a lady standing in front of the door, leaning against the stage. Looking closer, I found this was the figure whose image I had tried to present to everyone. Elderly, with short cropped hair, wearing a tussar, which is a deep gold orange. It looked garwa to her. Sari, appearing saffron color from a distance. The previous day, when they were walking towards the temple and I was passing them in the opposite direction, my glance had for a moment fallen upon her. Advancing rather hesitantly, I muttered, Anandamayi Ma? Indicating the balcony outside with alacrity, she said pleasantly, there she is. wish we could be there right now. Awkwardly, I crossed the open doorway. Immediately, my eyes fell on a bright, a bright, luminous, radiant figure, beautiful, ageless, clad in white with long flowing hair. You imagine Mara's about 40 at this time, but she always said that she looked like 18 until she in the 60s. Beautiful, ageless, clad in white with long flowing hair, her eyes and face glowing, lustrous, her entire form shining with an unearthly glow. Spellbound, I stood there, eyes unblinking, speechless. Very slowly, the figure raised her face as if returning from a distant dreamland, and with a heavenly smile said, "Sit, Baba." Her voice, too, seemed to come from another world, resonating in my ears as if ever anew. Gradually, I was coming back to myself. Bowing hesitatingly, I paid my obeisance to her, but did not have the temerity to touch her feet. Once again, with that bright, heavenly smile on her face, she asked, "Do you live here?" Not yet completely in control of myself, somewhere I replied, "Yes, my home is close by." My mind was in a turmoil as I sat dazed, seeing the angelic beauty. Is this possible in a human being? I incessantly wondered. I kept gazing at the radiantly beautiful face, my mind and my intellect completely stupefied. She too was looking at me with a calm and tender look in her glowing, smiling eyes. A few minutes passed in this manner. From the door at the back came a voice, "Ma is here." A lady came out onto the balcony and cried out delightfully, "Oh, Ma, it is you." I returned to my senses and saw that it was Haridas Babu's wife. Looking at the Devi, I said softly, "I shall now take my leave." With a charming smile, she said, "Come again." Even that cryptic reply seemed to fill my heart with bliss. I paid my obeisance and stepped out. So that's the first. He's a good writer too. He tells his experiences very, very beautifully in this whole book. And it's published by the Anandamayi Archive in Delhi. They're the ones who did that very good translation and publication of that important document we have called Mother Reveals Herself, where she talked to Baiji about her early life. It's a very valid document, and they did very good. So they also did a very good job of printing. Okay, I want to read a little more because you see it's good stuff. This is just one of many incidents that he experienced, and I just thought it was very interesting. Okay, so this is maybe a few months later. So where are they? I think they're in the Almora ashram then. Okay, so he says, "Today is Mahanavami. Having completed the morning puja and prostrating myself at Sri Sri Ma's feet, Manmata Babu went up to the Yagya Kunda and sat with it. It's in other words, there was whenever we were with Ma, there was always something going on, a Bhagavad Sapta, a Yagya, a Kirtan. She would go kind of from festival to festival. So there's always something happening. So everybody does like a Yagya going on. That's the fire ritual, you know. Hariram Bai, Pandey, and Bishnu Brahmachari sat on three sides. The Homagiri had been lit according to stricture, so the fire was going. Everyone would be offering ahuti. That's either the ghee or the seeds we throw in. We do this every day at Masharanam, at the ashram. Everyone would be offering ahuti into the lighted fire. Sri Sri Ma sat on one side of the platform, still looking grave. It was 11 o'clock. Behind Ma stood Amal Babu, Naresh Babu, Dr. Vyas, and Sisir. They were not paying attention to the event that was happening, but talking amongst themselves, not realizing that because of this, it was getting difficult to decipher the words of the mantras properly. They're just back there having a conversation. Harinam rebuked them sharply, asking them to be silent. Sri Sri Ma, too, showing some irritation, told them to leave the place. Feeling deeply hurt, they retired to the other side of the hall and went into the small room next to the bathroom, closed the two doors behind them. Then, like children, the four of them sat on the floor in a row and with closed eyes began to weep uncontrollably, crying out, "Ma, Ma, Ma." This went on for about 15 or 20 minutes. I would look at them through the open window from time to time, amazed, then return to where the yagya was going on and stand there, not knowing what to do. Sri Sri Ma sat silent, unmoving, as if lost in meditation. All of a sudden, she stood up and, stepping down from the platform, began to walk with quick steps on her bare feet along the narrow pebble lane behind the ashram, with Abney and I hastening to keep up with her. Instead of going towards the front door, Ma walked right up to the end next to the bathrooms, then entered the bathroom next to them. Opening the latches of the door leading from them into the adjacent room, she entered the room. This is where they're all crying. She entered the room and going up to where the four wailing men were sitting, sat down before them on the floor. Then, like them, she began to wail loudly, crying out, "Ma, ma, ma, ma," in a similar manner. I hurriedly opened the two doors leading out, while the four who had been weeping all this while opened their eyes, saw Ma, and stopped, staring, speechless, tears still coursing down their cheeks. Sri Ma continued to wail, the tone getting higher and higher, her tears running into streams, her eyes lifted skywards, and her cheeks glowing pink. And the devotees came running and stood around her, wondering, stupefying eyes fixed upon her. No other sound could be heard. All held their breath, struck speechless. How long this lasted, I'm unable to tell. Gradually, she returned to her normal self, her voice becoming softer and softer, and the tears subsiding. And soon a smile appeared through those tears, like the sun coming out after a shower. Then slowly she spoke. If one wants to cry out for the mother, it must be like this, with all one's heart. Then the mother will have to come running. Isn't that beautiful?
Wow.
See, Ma did things in a playful way, but also sometimes in a dramatic way, just to show things. Okay, there's more. I guess more stuff. I'm watching the time, don't worry.
It's by that.
Okay. Now this is very personal and precious to me because we're going to read about a place which I want to share some of my memories of the same place. Okay. Oh, sorry, I missed it. Okay. Sorry, I've got some things marked. I'm not finding the right place. This must be. Here it is. Okay, here it is. Those of you, some of us in our group here have been to the Dehradun ashram where Ma left her body and to the ashram next to it, Kalyanvan. I'm going to tell some of my memories of that later. But right near there is a place called Dunga. Now, if you've seen this place, if you've been there, Renu's been, and also Gulshan was there with me one time. You know the area is right in the foothills of the Himalayas. It's in Dehradun, and you see the tall Himalayas right just a few miles away in this dense jungle further on, a very woodsy place. There's a place called Dunga, where eventually one of Ma's ashrams, early ashrams, was established, and one of the original schools was there. Now we're going to talk about when Ma first went there here, and she's going to describe the place, and I'll tell you some of my memories. So we're at Monday, October 15th. Okay, so what happened was the zamindar, that's the main ruler of that area, who all the people, he owns the land and the people rent it from him. And these zamindars are usually very well loved. His whole family came and they said, Ma, we love you and we own this land. Please come visit this land. So the family brought Ma there. And eventually an ashram was established there. But I'm going to read about it. It's a magical, magical forest. I'm not making this up. Monday, October 15th. Shortly before sunset, we arrived at Dunga. Ma traveled in Chaudhary Sher Singh's car. That's the zamindar and his family. Very wealthy. And the rest of us by the bus arranged by him. Because he came and invited everybody and invited buses. And provided buses. This is a mountain village about 24 miles north of Dehradun. The roads are uneven and narrow with dense jungles on both sides. This is Chaudhary Sahib's ancestral property. His own residence and the home of his employees are all here. On one side, spread over a very large area of flat land, is his palatial ancestral home. And on its four sides are the zamindari, related offices and accommodation for the employees. All around and beyond are row upon row of mountain ranges disappearing into the distance with few human settlements of tiny huts and irregular terraced agricultural land scattered here and there. Try to imagine just the beauty of this place. It's stunning. A short distance away, a path descending sleepy from the side of the road leads to manicured flower garden with dazzling white temple and a spacious Nath mandir. Next to it, there was a double-story guest house where Ma and her party had been given accommodation. There was a pujari who conducts the daily puja, and his living quarters are adjacent to the guest house. Okay, anyway, he goes on about it more. But no human habitation is visible from here. Dense forests on all sides and the roads of high mountains give a grave and solemn air to the area. One catches one's breath in awe. There was only the chirping of crickets from the thick greenery and the song of birds. The soft murmurings of occasional villagers passing by and a grazing cow or two mooing do not succeed in breaking this vast brooding silence, still like that. We came to know that wild animals like tigers around here in these forests roam fearlessly at night. It was such a place that we began our stay with Ma. Okay, so let's go. So the Zamindar invites them all, gets them all settled. He describes it more. I mean, I want to describe it more. On the southern side near the temple, near the boundary, stands a huge peepal tree under which there is a crumbling brick platform. One day, indicating that area, Sri Ma said, "Do not go near that area. The tranquility of that place must not be disturbed by any means. Mahavir, that's Hanuman, gave darshan there one day." Yeah. And she even said at one point, she said,
We have to go there.
yeah, we will. She even said, don't ever harm any of the animals in this woods because some of them are actually rishis. It's like such a special place that some of the animals are actually like evolved beings. Okay, so they all stay there. So they invited Ma and her whole party, so they all just kind of camped there because that in those days Ma just was very spontaneous, her travel plans. So they all just camped there, you know, and the zamindar took care of them and fed them and everything. In this manner, 12 days passed in this place. In the afternoons, Sri Ma stepped out for her walk with almost all of his following, creating a noisy buzz. One day, while walking along the upper path, she advanced towards the village down a path along the mountainside. And gradually leaving the path, she went up the mountain. And in front, there appeared a large flat space surrounded by tall pine trees. Wandering here, she asked, "What if we do not go down today? We could spend the night here. What do you think? It'd be fun just camping out with Ma." We looked at one another, smiling. The zamindar and his two wives were present there, and realizing Ma's wish, they immediately had tents brought from the palace, and soon the tents were pitched on a relatively flat, cleared space, secured to the ground. Quantities of grass and hay were brought, spread thickly on the floor of the tent, and the rug was spread on top. Ma's bedding was carried up from below, and within an hour the tent was ready. We too, carrying our blankets, merrily set up the task of settling down for the night around the tent under the open sky. After supervising the arrangements, the zamindar and his wives did their pranam to Ma and left for the night. We went down to the guest house for our meals, and later, under the vast open sky, we lay down at Sri Ma's feet, surrounded by the dark, silent mountains and dense jungles, and with no worry in our minds, went to sleep. Just before laying down, Ma directed us to replace a lighted lantern a short distance away and said to keep it burning the whole night. In the morning, the zamindar family arrived earlier than usual, anxious to find out how we spent the night in that exposed forested area, fraught with all kinds of danger. Touching the feet of the ever-wakeful mother, they looked at our smiling faces and breathed a sigh of relief. Later, according to Ma's desire, they pitched a second tent a short distance away from hers and had a larger area cleared. Okay, so they did more. Sometime during the following day, Sri Ma told us that at midnight she had darshan. I mean, she saw in her eye several troubled spirits, among them a completely naked and demented woman. After hearing this and finding out more details from Ma, the disturbed zamindar and his wife sorrowfully disclosed that these spirits were indeed their own ancestors, who, on losing sanity, had taken their own lives. And that was the reason why this huge palace was today empty and lifeless like a cremation ground. So Ma released them. Ma did not reveal whether these spirits made their appearance again. So there was one reason Ma wanted to stay there, so they came to her so she could release them. Okay, I want to share some of my memories about the same place. Because this kind of makes Ma more relevant. I remember when I taught a class in our school in Omkareshwar to the village children about Ma's life. And she had been there in Omkareshwar, and she stayed in this particular room where I found where she stayed. And I used to love to bring the class there and sit there and say, Ma sat in this room, right on this floor. I'd pat the floor. She was in this room. I just made it real. So let me share some memories about this. a few years ago, it was probably like 2011, probably 2010. Um, I was, I was living in Anandamayi Ma's ashram in Omkareshwar, and we heard that our beloved Swami Bhaskarnanji, who was Ma's main Swami, and who was everyone's beloved. He was just the most amazing, wonderful saint, but he was just such a dear, sweet, kind soul. That Swami Bhaskarnanji was going to be spending a few days in the Kalyanvan ashram there in Dehradun. And so we just went. So our Baba, our Swami Kedarnath, who's the head of our ashram, Krishwar, myself, Swami Guru Sharananda, about 6 of us in the ashram just came and just went there. And they put us up there in the Kalyanvan ashram. We got to stay in Atmananda's Kutir and different places. And Swami Nirvanananda, who was eventually president of the Anandamayi Sangha, and he was Ma's pujari. He did all the different pujas during the year of Durga Puja and Ram Navami and all these different things. He was the one doing the puja. I've seen him with my own hands, literally feeding Ma this prasad. He was there staying because he has a room there. And so we had these 3 wonderful saints of Ma, Swami Kedarnath, Swami Bhaskarnanji, and Swami Nirvanananda. And of course, where the honey is, the bees gather. So many devotees came. So it was maybe 20 or 30 people who just came from all over to be with them. So we were there for several days, and we had wonderful satsang. Every night we're sitting at the feet of these wonderful 3 swamis, just talking about their experience with Ma. And it was just a wonderful time. So the same thing happened then that happened when Ma was there. Ma was there, and this Zamadar and his family came and invited her to Dunga. And so she went, as we just read the description, and then after a while, an ashram started there. And I think the boys' school, which is now in Elmora, was originally there. So while we were there, this same family, obviously their descendants, because this was in 36 we read, so obviously their descendants who still owned the land came and are still extremely wealthy. They came and they heard Swami Bhaskarnanji and all the people were here. They came and one night we were all sitting there with having satsang, and they said, "We have come to invite you to Dunga tomorrow morning." He said, "The remains of Ma's ashram are still there, and our ancestral home is still there. We don't live there anymore. It's all in ruins, but the jungle is just taking over, and we wanted to give you this land and put it back into the ashrams of Anandamayi Ma and maybe open the ashram again there." So and they were very sweet. They said, we are 3 generations of devotees of Ma here. And our family has been devoted to Ma for all these years. So we want to invite you tomorrow morning. The same thing, we'll bring a bunch of vans to come with us. So we all readily agreed. So next morning, we found they brought a whole fleet of vans and buses and things, and they drove us all. It was maybe it wasn't. It's been a few years now. I can't remember how far, but it was fairly close to the Kalyanvan Dehradun Kishanpur ashram. But it was as the description went, it was way up in the jungle. Then you go off on a side road and go deep into the jungle. So we went there, and we found their ancestral home. The palace they talked about was in ruins there, but still the area was very kind of well kept, very green. And then we went further and we stopped and they showed us around. There were very simple buildings, many in ruins, kind of literally just, the bricks were kind of on the ground, but still the area was just magical. Like just as we described it, during Ma's time, they showed us many of the different buildings and we all walked around and so, looked at, and you could still feel Ma's presence there. Ma spent a lot of time over the years there in the early days. So we looked around, and we were just in awe of the area. It was so peaceful, so holy, just vibrating and lush plants and everything. Just incredible place. So then towards afternoon, the Zamindar, the present one, who's probably the grandson of the one we just read about, they brought provisions and they spread out a big tarp on the grass in front of this ruined palace, and they fed us sumptuously with all this food and everything. And then we stayed until almost dark, and we went back to the ashram at dark. And one of the beautiful memories of my life is I was walking with our Swami Kedarnath, who we call Baba. He and I were just walking along, and it was getting dusk. It was a special time of day, and we were just enjoying this beautiful atmosphere and feeling Ma's presence. And we stopped in front of the palace. There was a green lawn and just this palace in ruins. I mean, literally the walls are falling down and everything, but you could tell it was an amazing place in its day. And Baba has very big, beautiful eyes, and he looked at me and with his deep eyes, and he said, Mangalananda, look at this. This was once. Sorry, I'm remembering the memory. He said this was once a place of grandeur and wealth and esteem, and now it's fallen into disarray. People are dead. He said, all things in this world pass away. That's why all the saints and Ma tell us to cling to the name of God for salvation. And just that time of day, his voice, his look, seeing this palace, it was just, it's imprinted on my soul forever, that wonderful moment. So to complete the story, we went back to the ashram, and then all of us there, and Swami Nirvanananda, Swami Bhaskarnandaji, Baba, they talked about, well, how can we do this? Are there people from the Kankal ashram who can come? And Swami Bhaskarnanda said, look, why don't your group take over? So they thought about it, and Baba turned to me and he said, Mangalananda, you're doing your sadhana in Omkareshwar. You want to I would like you to move here, and we'll try to just reestablish this ashram. And you can just, you'll be very much here and see what we can do. And I said, Baba, whatever you say, so it was kind of a new chapter in my life. So we thought about it. And then hours went by and talked about it more. And finally we decided, Baba said, look, you're needed there. You're teaching in the school. At that point in the Omkareshwar ashram, I was kind of doing a lot of the administrative work of things outside the ashram, visitors and arranging tours and taking care of emails and stuff, so he said, you're needed there. And so the three swamis all said, I don't think you can do it. We're really sorry, but between all the ashrams, we're just shorthanded. So we'd be spreading ourselves too thin. So we told the Zamdar and his family, thank you. So by now, probably it's just been taken over by the jungle again. So that magical place is lost. But anyway, if I wanted to share my memories of this place and Ma's presence there. Okay. I do recommend this book. I want to read one more thing at the very after Pragya's talk. That's really very moving that Ma did. So usually at this time we have Katia from Portugal share a beautiful kirtan with us, but we're going to go on to some more talking. We're going to have Pragya read from her book, Ma's Conversations. So to kind of break up all the talking, we'll do another kirtan. What did we decide to do? Okay. We just finished the 9 days of Navaratri, the fall worship, spring worship of the Divine Mother. So let's do a kirtan where we invoke Ma and many of her names as Durga, Kali. So it says, Jaya Jaga Janani Jagadambe. So we're saying victory to the mother who projects the universe, the birth giver of the universe. So Jaya Jaga Janani Jagadambe. Then it's just words I'm sure you know of Kali, Mahakali, Mahasaraswati, okay?
Sound.
Thank you, Renu. You're doing your job. Jaya Jaga Janani Jagadambe. Jaya Jaga Janani Jagadambe. Jaya Jaga Janani Jagadambe. Jaya Jaga Janani Jagadambe. Mata Bhavani Mata Ambe. Mata Bhavani Mata Ambe. Mata Bhavani Mata Ambe. Mata Bhavani Mata Ambe. Mahakali Mahadurge. Mahakali Mahadurge. Mahakali Mahadurge. Mahakali Mahadurge. Jai 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 Jagadambe. 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 Jaya Jaga Janani Jagadambe. Matambe, Matambe, Mahakali, Mahadurge, Mahakali, Mahadurge, Jai 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 Jagadambe, 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 Mata Ambe, 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 Matambe, 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 Jagadambe, Jai 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 Jagadambe, Jai 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 Jagadambe, Jai 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 Jagadambe, Jai Jagajanani Jagadambe, Jai Jagajanani Jagadambe, Jai Jagajanani Jagadambe, Jai Jagajanani Jagadambe. Okay, let's go to Pragya. And Pragya, why don't you explain a little bit briefly, because we have some new people here today, about your book and how it came to pass, and we'll do some reading.
Sound
Yeah.
again.
Thank
Sound.
So Jai Ma, everyone. Actually, Mangalanandaji, do you have a copy of the gospel with you there? Because
I'm sorry, I
I
don't have one with me. I have both copies at home. I just recently finished the whole second volume, so I read the
oh
whole
yeah.
thing together.
Well, I'm reading from the second volume today, but I have to say that because I'm moving, I moved all the books up to the new ashram. So, but I'm going to read from my original transcript,
Okay.
the one that I sent to the publisher. So the story is that somehow through the grace of Ma, in 1994, I was gifted a set of transcripts of Ma's conversations with her devotees between 1960 and 1981. And our beloved friend Swami Guru Sharanananda, who hopefully will be coming to our retreat in October, when he saw that I had them, said, "This is a gold mine. You have to publish these." So my friend Jaya and I, Jaya, who's a grandniece of Ma, were allowed into the Harvard archives where Ma's tapes are, and we were able to retranslate these transcripts because she speaks Bengali and Hindi, which is what Ma was speaking. And so for the past 7 years, I've been immersed in Ma's words. So this is from volume 2, and it's tape number 40. The conversations took place in Brindavan in 1975. So for those of you who don't know, Ma left her body in 1982. Questioner: when they utter Ma, Ma, Ma at the time of death, do they have the darshan of Ma? Shri Ma: yes, when they utter Ma, Ma, they see her before them. What happens, whatever Ishta, chosen form of God, one has, he presents himself before them. The Ishta is in the Guru, and the Guru is in the Ishta. The mantra is also there in both of them. All three are there in each of them. Therefore, if the Guru is manifested, or if the Ishta is manifested, or even if the mantra is manifested, All three are manifested in one. What is mantra? Man plus tra, the one that saves the mind, or man plus tera, the one that links the mind to him. What is akshara? The one that never decays, the one that is never destroyed. And in this case, ma means the sacred syllable akshara, the one who is indestructible. So what happens in the last moment? In whatever state one is in, he receives him manifested in one of those forms, Guru, Ishta, and Mantra. And any one form represents all three. If one has the darshan of the Sadguru, the true Guru, because the true Guru is very rare, koti me koti, 1 in millions, you may encounter a number of ordinary gurus, but it is very difficult to find a Satguru, a true Guru. Such a Guru is found koti me koti, 1 in millions. That Sadguru is Sarvagnya, omniscient, and such a Guru is God himself. He is the real light. The Ishta, the chosen form of God, is also like that. Everyone cannot be an Ishta. Once such a Guru is attained, everything is attained. Once such an Ishta is attained, everything is attained. And once the mantra, the one that saves the mind, is attained, once the akshara, the imperishable, is attained, all is attained. When any one of them is manifested, all are manifested. That is the thing. You are all with this body. The soul sees Ma and says, Ma, you are with me. Those of you who are around may not see Ma in a body at that time, but that soul sees that Ma within him. And that is why he calls out, Ma, Ma, frequently. While passing away, the self, the small self, becomes the self. He does not feel his own body. He sees only either his Ishta or the mantra or the Guru. Because the soul feels Ma with him, he may not see any necessity to call out Ma. At such times, this body has felt as if she were there with the person who was calling her. That is the experience of this body. This is true. This body sees all those things happening to that person calling Ma in the last stages. This is pratyaksha, perceived by this body, because this body speaks only that which she feels. This body will speak only what she sees. She has to live in the form that is liked by God. She has to live as he wishes. Whatever must happen is happening. Whatever she must do, she is doing. Some say, Ma, we see you as our Ishta. And they go on repeating the name of their Ishta. Whatever form of God you like, you can take the Ishta, Guru, or Mantra. The Guru is only one, nobody else. The Guru you have accepted is Vishwaguru, the Guru of all. The one who is Vishwaguru is your Guru. The position of the Guru is one. So Guru or Ishta, whatever you like, you should have union only with that form. He took the name on his lips that he liked very much. One more thing. Baiji was in union with God. Why did he utter the name of Ma? You see your children go on playing. When they see you, they become restless to come into your arms. You take them into your arms. They suck your milk and go to sleep. It is just like that. They see Ma and go to sleep in her arms. Her arms give them all comfort. For them, there is nothing but Ma. They obtained Ma and they got everything. They uttered Ma because Ma in her body was not with them. This body was elsewhere. He saw in reality that Ma was with him. And so he called Ma, just as the children call when they happen to see their mother. He felt himself in union with Ma, and this body felt that Raghuvansha was calling her. That's another person she was speaking about who had just died. Now this body can see everything clearly. Then she was in Naimisharanya. Baiji and Raghuvansha both left their mortal bodies with that word alone, Ma. Jai Ma.
I remember, wow, what a reading. I remember being moved when I read that part in the second volume. Okay, well, there's so much in that program. What are your thoughts about it? I mean, this.
Well, you know, this has been a week where in our extended family, we've had 5 people pass away. And one of them is a beloved kirtan singer named David Newman, who is a devotee of Maharaji's. And so I've been thinking a lot about death and about what happens at the moment of death. And so I just opened to this today, this incredible teaching about what the options are at the moment of death. And here's Ma saying that 2 devotees, one of them Baiji, her first devotee, called Ma. And just as a mother, I mean, that is so, when she describes it, it is so real. Just as a mother calls, you know, is called by her child and the child rushes into her arms, she's saying that will happen to us if we rely on her, if we are ready to call on her at the moment of death. So I find that extremely moving. Yes, there's so much in this reading, but that's what jumps out for me.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. If we could just call out Ma at the time of death, that's kind of that's what we should be working on now. Because they say at the time of death, you no longer have control of your thoughts. So only that thought which you dwelt on most during your life will come up. And if it's money or, you know, Ma tells a funny story about how, you know, the person who had a store and sold oil and it always drive the beggars away saying, I'm not going to give you any oil. You go away. You go. Her last thought, she looked up and she said, I'm not going to give you a single drop. And she died, you know. So, but if we spend our life thinking of Ma, we can pass like this. Yeah. Incredible. And another thing that struck me was she said, you know, the Guru, the mantra, the Ishtar are one. She said some people take this body, take Ma as their Ishtar. She didn't say no. She said, and they use that name and it's fine. I personally saw Ma tell people it was okay for them to say the word, the mantra Om Ma and think of her. She said, this is the name of God. She, you know, she didn't ever say, I am God. Well, she did one time, she said Purna Brahma Narayana, but she was always so humble. But this mantra Om Ma, which Baiji kind of filtered out through us for us, you know, is also a very valid mantra. And if we could say Ma, throughout the day, if we could say Ma, think of Ma, hopefully at the time of death, we will remember Ma and go with Ma. And just as we read at the beginning of this, how when we think of Ma and meditate on her and just say her name, she sees our faces in her mind, in her infinite mind. So yeah, very moving. I'd almost like to read the whole thing again because there's so much information, but you know, get the book and read it. It's in volume 2. I think it's toward the beginning of volume 2, right?
Yeah, page 16. Or yeah, wait a sec, page 16.
Yeah, very early in volume 2. I remember reading it. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Okay, we've gone, you know, because of our announcement, because of my excessive reading, we've gone a little bit over, but I want to read one more section because this is just so amazing. I think it's very, it'd be encouraging to all of us who are all going through hard times now.
I just wanted to say I'm so excited about this new book. I can't wait to order this.
Absolutely wonderful. I've read the first volume on the second volume now, and it's just so wonderful to see. I also see his development. Okay. And this is when the author, Dhirendra, was having kind of a bad day. You know, he had, and you see in the book, he had good days and bad days, like all of us. And so I think we can all very much identify with him. Now they're in the Raipur ashram, where many of us have been. Raipur is also near Dehradun. And it was the first place that Ma came in 1932 when she and Bholanat and Baiji left Bengal and just traveled wildly to the end of this train line. They ended up at this little abandoned Shiva temple on a hill. Rainu, we went there, right? And we were there, right? We were there, yeah.
Yeah, it's small.
I've been there many times, and when we were there, it was abandoned, but there's sometimes there's some sadhus staying. I've been there with sadhus before also. So anyway, Ma was there with a lot of people. It was full of because they lived there, but eventually when devotees encircled Ma and the Anandamayi Sangha was formed, They bought that land and an ashram is there, established there. So this is Friday, the 25th of September. The afternoon reading session has been completed. Sri Ma, as part of her daily routine, is walking on the terrace next to the hall, while devotees are standing in scattered groups, talking pleasantly among themselves, watching Ma from time to time. She too is stopping here and there and participating in conversations. Can you imagine, just so spontaneous? Ma's walking around talking to people. 2 or 3 among them are at times walking with her, occasionally asking her questions. It so happened that Naroj Babu's wife, coming down for some work, saw me sitting facing the path next to the kitchen, absorbed by bidi. A bidi is one of these Indian cigarettes, which he smoked a lot. And Ma tried to coax him out of it. He said, "Ma, I can't stop. Sorry, leave me alone." So Ma said, "Okay, but don't smoke it while you're cooking." So Ma was he could have, if he'd asked Ma to help him, he could have stopped him. Anyway, so he's sitting there smoking the cigarette, and Ma's up there walking around talking to people. Affectionately, the simple old lady said, "Dada, why do you sit here alone? Why there are so many interesting discussions going up there. Ma is there walking." I replied in an indifferent tone, "I cannot stand all that. I'm better off here." He was having a bad day. The lady, somewhat embarrassed, said, "One can't understand you. You come here to stay with Ma, yet you never go close, nor do you sit before her with the others." Looking into the distance, I replied slowly, "Didi, what does one gain by sitting in front of her and moving about before her eyes? I am a wicked person, bound by my own actions. My destiny holds no hope for me, nor do I have any expectation of future bliss. I'm just trying to get through this life somehow with some idle talk and laughter, keeping a distance from others." He's having a real bad day. Looking at me wonderingly, she declared, "How strange. You seem to talk in riddles all the time. You must either be an atheist or a highly devout person." I laughed. Sorrowfully, I told her, "Didi, all of you have been created differently by God and have come into the world with good qualities and good values. That is why my ways look like riddles to you. I know you hold me in affection, and that is why I want to tell you openly today. I do not come forward because I am afraid. Firstly, what is the point in listening to all these words of wisdom? I'm sure to forget them the next instant. Secondly, at any moment, Ma may tell me, you must do this, must behave in this manner, must give up such and such things. Such things are impossible for me. You can see for yourself. There's no telling what I do. So why expose myself to disobedience unnecessarily? Better to remain at a distance, take a fleeting look once in a while. That is all. I have no expectation of anything more. It is not in my destiny to attain anything." And I didn't always talk like this. He was just having a bad day. So you can see his state of mind. A little put off, the kind-hearted lady went back and probably said something to Ma. A summon came for me a little later, and I duly went up. Sri Ma was still walking up and down. Looking at me smilingly, she said, "What is all this nonsense that you've been saying? Do you think you know everything, that no good can happen to you?" In a low voice, I said, "Yes, Ma." I'm gonna have trouble getting through this too.
Want me to read it?
No, I'm good. "Yes, Ma, there is no chance of any pension coming to me from anywhere. I have been watching this world for what it is. I see only darkness surrounding me from all sides." She glanced.
Where are we?
She glanced at me. Let me read it. She glanced at me just once and resumed her walk. The next time she walked past me, very softly, she uttered these words: "But there is that which is called kripa, grace. This is not something imaginary." And walked on. So see what state of mind he was in. The Ma said, "Yes, we're a mess. We're all a mess in this human condition." Just let me read it again. "But there is something called kripa, that's divine grace. That is not something imaginary." So she assured him that okay, maybe a mess. We all are if we look honestly at ourselves. But Ma's grace is there. Ma's grace is there. And only because of that can we have any hope. And we do have all hope because of Ma's grace. So let's open the. Oh, that's right. So one more thing. Let's we're kind of so late today.
I think we should open to discussion because this
Yeah,
is all
yeah.
so heartwarming.
Yeah. So let's open the floor to any questions. Now remember, we want to stay on subject. We're here to talk about Anandamayi Ma and what she means to us and what our life is and what practices we do. practical things. So if there's any questions, any observations about the beautiful readings you've had today, any experiences you want to share concerning Ma and your life with Ma, please speak up. How do we do it with the hands or people? If you look on the reactions, yeah, with your reactions, you could kind of raise your hand and Randy could call on you. Okay.
So Will is first.
Will, okay, Will.
Hi, Acharya, thank you very much. That's incredible. You mentioned some places in India that seem to be forgotten, but I think that it would be helpful if you could somehow mark it on a map. I think that information should not get lost, and I think that those places should be restored, and I think that there may well be someone who would be interested in doing it, but you need to know where they are, and it would be helpful if you could do that for someone.
Yeah, there's Ma had 24 ashrams, and many of them are kind of deserted now, but there's some very, very active ones like Bhimpur Ashram, Almora Ashram, Delhi Ashram, Kankal Ashram, which is the main ashram now, our ashram, Masharanam in Madhya Pradesh. This ashram in a place called Dunga is right near the ashram, the Kishanpur and the Kalyanvan ashram in Dehradun. I don't know how you would even contact the people, how you would find it, because it's just in the middle of nowhere. It's too bad it's kind of we weren't able to sort of revive it.
Well, I was trying to look on the Google, but I mean I don't know the names. But it's obviously it's a bit surprising. But they've marked blue roads up there. It's as if the Google team have been up with their vans, and they've done quite a good job around that area. So maybe you could find out. I could find. I mean, you speak the language, so maybe a few telephone calls. I don't know. Who knows?
I'll be back in India in late January. Who knows? I could ask people and see what happens.
You mentioned two places.
The Zemindar is still around somewhere,
You mentioned two places. You mentioned the place north of Dehradun, and then you mentioned another place that you were supposed to.
Raipur Ashram is still there. It's no longer in the middle of a jungle. It's on top of a hill. There's kind of a shabby looking village further down. But it's an ashram of Anandamayi Sangha. It's I wouldn't call it an active ashram. I've been there different times when there's some sadhus living there. When we went in our last group, I think 2019, there wasn't anybody there, but that could have been just temporary. So it's still there and it's still being maintained by the Anandamayi Sangha. So that's good, because it's really definitely a historical site of Ma's Leela.
Well, if you could, I don't know if you would kindly make a map, but I think this should be somewhere permanently available for people.
Yeah, well, look on Christopher Pegler's wonderful website, anandamayi.org, and it has the different contacts for the different ashrams of Anandamayi Sangha. And you can even maybe write to somebody or something.
And I believe Christopher is here.
Oh, Christopher, do you have any idea about the Raipur ashram or about the Dunga ashram?
Yeah, I think they've done some repairs in Raipur ashram recently. About Dungar, I have no idea. Gopal Das, I think, has been there. If you have his WhatsApp.
That's true. I think Gopal Das was, of course, Gopal Das is with us at that time I described, because he was, being saved by Swami Bhaskaranji. That's true. He has a WhatsApp thing.
Yeah, he'll know if you contact him.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you, Will. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, Will?
No, not just now. Just to get those books, I don't know, somehow it's on it's actually here on the Zoom, but maybe you could, if you could put them on your Facebook page, that would be helpful. What you've just read.
Okay, I'll do that.
I was trying to look it on Google, but I couldn't. It's just not up there at all. So it couldn't find it. At least the text isn't there. The book's probably there, but I couldn't find the text. So.
And Will, if you don't know Christopher Pegler, who's also here today, he has been one of the people running the Matthew Satsang group in London for many years. So
I spoke to him on the phone a year or two ago. I don't know if he remembers. Do you remember me talking to you, Christopher?
No, I don't actually, but still, give me more identification, maybe.
Well, you guys keep in touch. Yeah, that's another thing about the Satsang. People have been getting in touch and making connections. I think it's very good. Thank you. Thank you, Will, for your contribution. Blake, I think
three other people with their hands up.
Yeah, Blake, are you there?
Blake.
Yes, I am here. Yeah, thank you for this beautiful satsangs, very touching stories about the love and the compassion of Ma. I just wanted to share a little story. I just did an interview recently, and I kind of tag you on the Facebook, but I put the minutes where I talk about something relevant. And although the interview has nothing to do with spirituality, I was talking about my father's involvement with the Roswell incident. But I somehow, whenever I do these interviews, I somehow weave in the spirituality. And somehow we talked about Ma and how she visited me a year and a half ago and brought me to you. And I started talking about that. And then so I finished the interview, and the next day I got a message from one of the viewers. And he said he was like suffering depression. He was about to give up. And when he heard the story about Ma and how she worked through my life, he really got inspired and felt connected with Ma. And somehow he experienced a state of bliss, and he kind of transformed. And so that's, I kind of imagine how the person who wrote the book, how when Ma talked to him and kind of shared her grace with him, and how that can be so transformational for him and all of us. And just want to say thank you so much for that. Jai Ma.
Wonderful. Thank you, Blake. Yeah. That's why these satsangs are so important. Like there's one in London, the East Coast has some that we keep Ma's memory alive. I mean, obviously Ma is able to do it herself, but she works through her children, so it's so important we have these satsangs and people can share and learn and come. It's just I think it's hugely important. And Ma always talked about the 6 things in spiritual life. She said first thing is satsang, jap, puja, dhyan, kirtan, pat. Yeah. But she stressed satsang so much, if we can sit with higher evolved beings and saints and swamis and things, that's great. But when we could just come here together like this, like we're doing, and read words and sing together. It's always wonderful. Like we were doing last night in Tiburon, we were singing kirtan and talking about Ma. So yeah, so let's keep doing this. Anyone else have a hand up? Or was it John?
Yeah, we have John, then
Yeah,
Michael,
John.
and then Aniska.
Hey, Lamaji. So, question. Anyway, maybe slightly a little bit off topic, but just real quick. A good friend of mine I've known many years. He died a couple days ago. Very, hard death. He had ALS, and I just wanted to ask for prayers for his passing.
What's his name?
Mark Nelson.
Okay.
And when someone has a really difficult death like that, what can you do to, other than saying prayers for them, give any recommendations on things to assist?
In every tradition, there's prayers for the dead. Like in the Catholic and Orthodox Church, we light candles and things.
Sikh tradition.
Yeah, the Sikh tradition, you say akal, which means beyond time, beyond death. Our prayers and our love do reach to the other side without any question. It's been proven many, many times over the centuries. We know one mantra in the tradition of Sanatana Dharma, which is used in this very much, is this Mahamrityunjaya mantra of Shiva, which says, I think it's Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandham Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Rityur Mukshiyamamrita. It says Shiva, who is the Lord of all beings, will cut us free from the bondage of death, like the cucumber is taken from the vine. And that I've had my own experience where one time I was in a hospital with the dying people in one of these wards where everybody's dying. And after somebody died, I would go around and I whispered in their ear. And I found I had experienced it really does help. So any prayer you say will be helpful to them. I'm trying to think of Ma. I know Ma. I'm trying to think of Ma's things. Many grieving people came to Ma. If you look in the Matrivani book, there's a whole section where she consoles different grieving people. And one thing she said was, obviously, we're going to have grief when someone near to us dies. There's no question. That's natural and normal. But she said excessive grief can also bleed over and bind that soul back to you in ways or it can restrict their further progress. So she warned against excessive grief, but she always, said, she would tell people, remember that, you're one Atma, you're still with that person. If it was their daughter or their son, you're still with that dear soul because your Atma is the same. So she had different ways of consoling people. I don't remember if she ever said specifically things that would help the person. I could, in Sanatana Dharma, there are many rituals that do, like we have put people's ashes in the Holy Ganga. We did it recently, our last trip to India, matter of fact. Because that's also very helpful. The soul is flooded with light when you do that. But as far as like what you can do right now, I would suggest different. Well, I know you're in the Sufi tradition. Different say mantras for them.
Yeah, I have it. I just
Yeah,
thought I'd ask, and also ask for prayers for his.
absolutely. We'll say some prayers. Yeah, yeah. In our puja, we'll say some prayers too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, John. Yeah, and I also knew David Newman, not real well, but I'd run across him several times and we talked. He was a wonderful man, a great kirtan singer. And we mourn his loss too. He was not that old, and he had a brain tumor. More hands. I think Michael, do you have your hand up?
Yes, I was struck by the way, here's Pragna's book, The Gospel, the second book too. And in her reading today, I was struck by Ma's saying that the true guru, the Sadguru, is like very rare, this 1 in a million type thing. But in the book, all the time people are asking her what to do, and she says, take it to the guru, take it to your guru. Over and over again, she says, take it to your guru. But then sometimes it's like, it's almost as if she's saying the guru is in you too. Or, the guru could kind of be anything. So I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, it brings us back to this subject. It's a vast, infinite subject. Let's see what we can say. Ma did see. Most people didn't have Ma as their guru. They had other gurus, and they came to Ma. The gurus just sent them to Ma, and then Ma started. Ma gave lineage diksha into that lineage in different ways through her life, either through Bayaji or Bholenath, and later through Didi Ma, later through a way that she came up with herself. But she would tell people, go back to your guru. And it's kind of perplexing. She said 1 in a million of the gurus will be a real Satguru. What does that mean? There's what's called the Guru Tattva. It means the principle of Guru. And what it means is, and Ma always said there's one Guru, that's God. And we think of it as Shiva, as one Guru. This Tattva, this principle of Guru, is God in a very important form. It's God who's come to the blossoming soul at just the right time to bring them forward into realization. And it's a form of God that's the most dear because it's the form that comes right when you need it, and it's the form that takes you the rest of the way. And it can come in many forms, like you just said. Sometimes it's in the book, like in the Guru Granth Sahib of the Sikh religion. They have a lineage of 10 gurus who helped them from the other side, but they also have all the teachings there in the book, and they reverence it as the guru, and it talks to them, and they interact with it. That's a valid form of a guru. A guru can come just in the form of an experience. That Guru Tattva can come to you in the form of an experience. That anything that takes you further to God, that illumines your mind with light. But then also, there have been a lot of fake gurus that have always also had problems, especially the ones that came to America. But they also brought valid teachings and valid traditions. And the people who followed them have made real spiritual progress. We know that. We know people who are kind of like ripe devotees who come with people with gurus who had some problems. So it's true, to find a truly illumined soul who is a perfect vehicle for that Guru Tattva is, as Ma says, rare, and she says 1 in millions. But we still reverence the teachers who have come to us and brought us these things because that Guru Tattva has spoken through them. And that Guru Tattva still guides us through these specific people. So it's hard to find a guru, and people should be very careful in their selection of a guru. And we in taking Ma as a guru is, like I say, that's one reason we're here. That's a very, very valid way also, because Ma said herself, she's always with us, she always hears us, and she will lead us in a way that's really valuable. We have her paduka here that she wore on her own small feet, So Ma's presence is with us in many ways. And reading Pragya's book, there's 2 volumes. That can also be the Guru Tattva can speak through that. So it's very important to pray to Ma that you'll be led in the right way. And if she may lead you to another teacher, but also we can take Ma as the Guru and have her be the one who instructs us and read her words and pray to her, and she will, without any doubt, guide us. Does that help, Michael?
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
long subject, it's a difficult subject.
Yeah.
I see we only have 5 minutes, but we have 2 people. David Slyer has his hand up, and also Anika, who she wasn't able to raise her hand, but she has a question.
Yeah.
So should we start with David?
Yeah. So 2 things. So there is the Holocaust Memorial Service, which is called Yom HaShoah on the 5th of May. That's for 6 million people. And in my case, I lost over 200 family members in the Holocaust. So I just want to mention that. That's really all I have to say about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
David.
Wow. That's incredible. You have amazing lineage. Wow. Okay. And
Anika?
Yeah, thank you so much. So this is actually my first time here. Um, I was born in Bangladesh, very close to where Ma born, and my whole life I just heard about her, but I never, and now that I have moved, I live in Canada now. Now I learn about, I could be part of this at least online. So um, I just want to know, how can I be more involved into this?
Well, first of all, Anika, if you could put your email in the chat right now, then you'll receive all of our mailings. And as you can see, we have a new website, which is at the beginning of the chat. So please leave us your email so that we can be in touch with you. We're so happy that you're here.
Thank you so much. I am typing my email right now. So yeah.
Welcome.
yeah,
Yes,
very
thank
much.
you so much for the chance.
And there has been a recent innovation in the Anandamayi Sangha where they are giving lineage into Ma's Sampradaya through things that she left. And our dear Saraswati, who's here, received Diksha recently in Pankal. That's also a possibility. But on one level, that can be helpful. On another level, you don't need it. You talk to Ma in your heart and have a meditation practice the best you can find from Ma's teachings, and it's very helpful. And Ma will lead you. There's no doubt about it. But we're here for you. This is why we have this satsang. We want to have sangha. We want to have satsang. We want to have a way that people can have access to further things. And Pragya will have this ashram in Boston. It's really very good. I'm sure I'll be there many times teaching things also.
Yeah. So basically, I have I am so confused. I have been reading many things like like Ramakrishna and all that, and I have been trying to even read Vedas and everything, but it's just I am so confused now, and I think if I had someone to guide me, instead I'm just like I am on the path of Jnana. If that's, maybe bhakti will be a better place. I'm feeling like if I could find peace within. So yeah.
Yes. Well, stay with us. Come as much as you can to the satsang and see what you can glean from it and the things that help you. If it's possible to come to that retreat thing I'm doing at Yogaville in July, we're going to talk a lot about Ma's. It'll be Ma's teachings, not my teaching. I don't have any teaching, but it'll be Ma's teaching, and we're going to talk a lot about mantra and meditation practices and chanting and things. That could be helpful. We're always helping in any way you can contact us, and Pragya and I are both happy to speak with you in any way you can help too. So again, Ma is leading. None of us are teachers or gurus or anything, but we are trying to just do Ma's work and to spread her way of doing things and her teachings. So if anything we can do to help, we're always here for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Although I have this word confusion, like if is there any particular section that the followers or the disciples of Ma Anandamayi considered themselves to be like? Is it like they are Vaishnavas, or is Shakta or Shaiva? It's something like that, or it's just open to everyone?
That's a very good question. It's a total circus because Ma was the embodiment of universality and brought everyone under her canopy, under her wings. And so and she instructed so many people, each person like separately. So everyone, if I could go into a Ma's ashram, there's something going on in the morning. People were doing the pujas, and there'll be Vaishnavas over here, and Shaivas over here, and Shaktas over here, Jewish people over here, Christians over here, Buddhists came to her, and because
Muslims.
Muslims, we have Sufis and everything, because every sadhana known to man played through her body during her lifetime. She can instruct people and lead people very specifically in whatever practice they did. So there is no designation for Ma's. In one sense, we say we're Shaktas because we worship Ma, but there's Vaishnavas are definitely there. Everyone's there, and people. And she would also lead people in Gyan Marg. Also, she would lead people in Atma Vichar and give instruction for that also. So I understand your confusion. There's a lot of instruction out there, and it's basically saying the same thing, but also some things are contradictory. So you need to find what works for you through experimentation. And but any guidance we can give through Ma's teachings, we're always happy to
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your help. And I will try to be there in July, hopefully. So yeah, thank you so much.
Great.
Jai Mata. Jai Mata.
Definitely keep in touch. Very, very good. In fact, we're here every third Sunday of the month too on Mati Satsang.
Jai Mata.
Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Well, I think are there any other hands up?
Can I have one? I have one. Well, I have slightly two questions. The first is, you said something you have that she wore on her feet. You mentioned just briefly something.
Yeah, right here. These are her paduka. These are her sandals.
These are hers. Interesting.
Yeah, they're very small feet and hands, and so we have these which we keep in our shrine.
How long did she wear those for? Was it just like?
What people would do is, she had a particular style. She really wore these wooden sandals or cloth sandals, and so people would come and they would have some similar sandals made new, and they would give them to her, and they would give her they would give them the old sandals. I got these from my dear friend Shraddha, who was kind of in with Ma's attendants, the brahmacharis that took care of Ma. They loved Shraddha. She was an American lady, and we put her ashes in the Ganga just last year, and so when she was around Ma, when Ma, her sandals wore out or something, they would give them to Shraddha. So she had all these wonderful relics of Ma, which she passed on to me.
Those look like wooden sandals. Is that correct?
Yeah. They're wooden. The bottom's wooden, the cloth on the top. And Ma wore those, or she would wear some very simple kind of flat canvas sandals.
The second question is, as regards the Buddha, whether she had any reflection on the Buddha. You don't often hear Indian sages talking about the Buddha, but I wonder if she had any reflection. The Buddhists they've got a kind of atheistic slant to them, and I wonder what Anandamayi Ma might have said about that.
I remember reading one time she did say the Buddha was the embodiment of enlightenment. And one time she was giving a satsang, and she was saying kind of the same things, but she was speaking in terminology that people there found strange, that she'd never spoken of before. And afterwards, a group of about 5 or 6 Buddhist monks came up, and they were in the audience, and they said, "You spoke to us exactly from our shastras, from our scriptures." So she picked up with that, and she was just spontaneously speaking the language they could understand. But she always spoke according to the capacity of the hearers to hear what they're.
It's kind of remarkable if you listen to Buddhist speeches, but you can listen to a Buddhist speech for 1 hour or 2 hours, and they will mention the word God not once, and I find that it is amazing.
Yeah, well, the Buddha, I've studied some Buddhism. I'm not, Arpita is more an expert on Buddhist scriptures, but he didn't talk about the final goal of God or liberation or nirvana. He just said, this is it, and here's how to get it. He was very practical.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's interpreted that he was atheistic, but he wasn't. I don't personally believe he was. I didn't know him, never met him in person, but his teachings are very, very clear, practical ways to control the mind and to end the
Michael
suffering
and
by
Anandji?
bringing nirvana.
Forgive me for interrupting, but it's 6:05, and I think some people are leaving, and maybe we should say some mantras, and so we have a real closure together.
Yeah, let's do. Okay, thank you, Will, for listening. And thank you everyone all for being here. It's always such a joy to see all of you and to see new faces. And please come back every third Sunday when you can. We're always here on the third Sunday, the same Zoom link. And we're here just to love Ma and to learn from Ma and to be together as Ma's children and Ma's Sangha. Okay, so let's do the closing mantras. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. May all look to the good of others. May all experience the unity of life. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Aviravirmedhi. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om Purnamata Purnamidam Purna Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. This is fullness which proceeds from that divine fullness. When fullness is taken from fullness, yet only fullness remains. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Shri Anandamayi Mata ki jai. Apni Satgurudev Bhagavan ki jai. Om Namah Parvati Pate. Hara Hara Mahadev. So thank you all for joining us. If you want to unmute and say goodbye, we can all look at each other and say goodbye. And remember all the different announcements we made and the things you can join us in. And we'll see you next month by God's grace, by Ma's will.
Jai Ma.
Hey, Ma.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Carla.
Jai Ma, thank you.
Hey, Ma.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jyoti.
Jai Ma.
Good to see everybody. Take care.
It's lovely to be with you.
Very good, Prema. Good to see you. Keep in touch.
Have you?
Jai Ma. Gulshan, we want to see your face soon.
You will.
Jai Ma, take care.
Hey, Ma.